Howdy y'all, this is VDK Daigo here with Commander Cub Scouts, and today we're going to have some fun. So, you built your first deck, what do you need to know? The first thing you definitely are going to need are some antidepressants. I kid, I'm joking. But seriously though, jumping from regular EDH to like higher power CDH is a completely different game that is going to have some different expectations. Just because you bought all of the super expensive and super rare stuff does not make your deck unbeatable, nor does it make it better than anyone else or make you a better player. Everyone's running fast mana, everybody's playing combo in some way, shape, or form, minus the Najeela and Stacks Beat Face players. They're playing a completely different game, and much like in the Saw franchise, don't put yourself out there because you don't want to be in that type of game, my guy. So, the first thing you need to know, hands down, is you are going to lose a lot. Unless you're actually goated on the sauce, but that's not going to happen unless you're Haas Delgado. For those of you who know the reference, you'll get that. Because, ultimately, you're playing against people who think the Geneva Conventions are merely a checklist to be checked off. So prepare to lose a lot. Number 2. This is a more personal thing, but it will definitely help you out because you're going to run into that player who's going to be a douche canoe about it. Get a coin for Mana Crypt. It doesn't have to be something you use every single time, but just something very clear and is actually a coin or coin propertied, because there will be that player who's like, nope, you need to use a coin, you can't roll a dice. I'm not saying you should play with those players, but like, just in case you're in an up creek without a paddle, you might have to. So, get a coin. For me, personally, I use a Sonic Cherry Limeade coupon that's in the shape of their mints, but feel free to use anything coin adjacent or property. Okay, moving forward. Number 3, get to know your deck. Any and every competent player you play against in CDH is going to have some general expectation of what your deck does, unless you're absolutely cracked out of your mind and building a brew that nobody's ever seen before, but good luck. As soon as, like, with the advent of Reddit, EDH Rec, and all of those, like, deck builders, people know all the combos of what a commander can do in, like, 2.5 hours. Looking at you, Tivit. So, get to know your deck and the ways it can win unconventionally, because that's pretty much gonna be the difference between a decent CDH player and a really good one. The more unconventional the way your decks can win, and the more ways you know how to go about the lines that aren't just written in primers, the easier and more consistently you'll be able to win or find wins out of nowhere and out of thin air. TLDR, learn your deck inside and out. It'll be a massive, tremendous help that you will not regret. Number 4. I talk about this in another video, but ego exhaustion kicks in super fast when it comes to like these types of games. You're essentially trying to figure out the moves of 4 different chess players and everything's on fire and they're throwing Rasengans at each other. Despite the fact that these games are typically taking 3 turns, these games are still going to last easily 90 to 110 minutes, and that can be enough to cook your brain. So, solution? Keep yourself fed. Bring any snack that isn't messy or dusty. I recommend some, and kind of healthy, at least to like refuel you in a decent way, because in this game, the mind is as important as the body and vice versa. I recommend oats overnight, protein shakes, some raw veggies, except potatoes. Do not eat raw potatoes. I did that mistake once. I'll never do it again. It was for a challenge in high school, and it was unpleasant. I should have just said no. But it is what it is. Here we are. The last and most important tip, minus the food one, bring the fun. Because you're playing in a circumstance where not everybody's trying to play evenly or like play to bring the fun out of like having a social dynamic, you're playing in an actual like match. So think of this like a sport game. You're going to have to find the fun for yourself in terms of why you play and why you continue to go put yourself through this horrid stuff. So, you can't be doing stuff willy-nilly just because laughs and giggles. This is a very intense game. The politics have to be precise. The deals need to be crisps. There can be no, hey, let me do this funny interaction like wheel and get a bunch of treasures off of Hull Breacher. I know he's banned, but I was just using it as an example. Because that wastes everybody's time, and people will be less likely to play with you at the CDH level, and because nobody likes wasting their time. Which goes into the next point. Don't, like, board wipe for the nth time and not have a win in sight. because these are high stakes games, and I don't always have money involved, but like these are games people care about and will be like invested in. So you're gonna have to find the fun for yourself and find what makes you happy. This has been VDK Daigo, and this has been Commander Cub Scouts. Have a nice night.